Hello! Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Midweek Mix-Up Weekend Edition with myself and the General C. I've just noticed as well, I still have the regular. Let's take that off. Boop. I don't need those names on because I have our own special names on here. I don't need the yellow bands. This isn't the Midweek Mix-Up normal edition. Oh, never mind. Welcome, everybody, to the Midweek Mix-Up Weekend Edition. Hope everybody is good. Hope everybody is well. Of course, please help us out. Like and share this out. We are obviously competing with the juggernauts that are the Iron Lords every Sunday. I hope everybody is having an awesome day. I know Sean's got a little bit of a hangover. I hope that's well. I hope I'm not talking too loudly, Sean. Oh, dear me. But yeah, I hope everyone's good. I hope everyone's having an awesome weekend. Of course, we've got some good topics to get into today. We've actually got a few things to talk about. That includes Stranger Things Series 4, Obi-Wan the TV show, Warner Brothers MultiVersus, Top Gun on Flight Sim, Sniper Elite 5, and Jedi Survivor. So I'm looking forward to getting into all those. But before I do, and whilst everybody starts to trickle into the show as well, let's get the introduction to my co-host. General C, how are you doing today, brother? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Been doing my streaming throughout the week. Streamed yesterday, and it was a hectic but hilarious time because I thought it would be a good idea to make all the rewards for the channel points for chat to 1 point. So
everybody,
there was a lot of
next
spam
time,
in
join
there.
me in spamming the living daylights out of Jen.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. You and my friend Smooth Dog were both competing, spamming me, and there was a point where I was pretty much in tears laughing because one of the sound effects it kept overlapping, and I was just in tears
yeah.
with how it sounded. So yeah, that was a hilarious time. It's all about the chat having fun. So yeah,
It is.
I wanted to do that just as a bit of an experiment. Probably won't always do that because I think I'll probably have a breakdown.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It
it
was
was still
hilarious, though.
hilarious. Like people using the fart emotes, not emotes, rewards, and the high year one. It was just hilarious. Um, I changed my mouse over to my new gaming mouse that I hadn't had a chance to plug in yet because I wanted to make use of my older mouse first. But I made the conscious decision to change over because the scroll wheel was starting to sort of wear on my old mouse, and now I'm kicking major ass on Hunt Showdown. So it's got like weights in the bottom of this mouse. There's little like metal sort of circles that go into it. It seems pretty good, this mouse. I don't know if those weights work or what they're supposed to actually do. But yeah, I feel like I'm playing better.
You feel like a
So
pro.
I feel like a pro on Hunt Showdown.
To be fair,
Far from it.
I used to have a controller. I still got it actually. It's the Nacon controller for the PlayStation 4. It's the Pro controller, and they've got weights in as well. I'm like, does it
I
really
think my
matter?
dad had that. Yeah. So like, do I actually need these weights in there? Should I just like throw them out, or not actually throw them out?
Just basically all it does is
take
makes
them
the
out.
controller feel like it isn't cheap.
Mm.
You take them out and it just feels light. I mean, there is literally no other benefit to it.
Mm.
It's like, okay, now it feels light, now it feels heavy.
Yeah, so I've been playing Hunt Showdown. I haven't actually streamed it this week, unfortunately, because I was playing MultiVersus through the week, so that took Hunt Showdown's place. And then I played Sniper Elite on Thursday, which took Hunt Showdown's place again. And they were codes for both of those were gifted to me by the individual teams, PR publicist at Warner Brothers, and the PR manager who is Rebellion is one of their clients. So those codes were both gifted to me. So I streamed them.
Nice.
We'll be doing Hunt Showdown this week for sure, because as far as I know, there's no codes being gifted to me this week. So plenty of time for Hunt Showdown. I've missed it this week streaming it because that's always a great time to stream that. But yeah, it's been a fun week. Currently today, played a lot of Jedi Fallen Order. Finally gonna get right into that game properly because Jedi's Survivor. So that's been my week.
Nice.
What about you?
Nice. Yeah, quick shout out to Stuffed Sean. He was watching Cushion Rugby today, otherwise known as American football, and his running back snapped his ankle in half. So that's what.
Ow!
That's what happens when you play Cushion Rugby. So if you played actual rugby, that wouldn't have happened.
It would have cracked his skull open instead.
Yeah, exactly. Concussions are better than snapped ankles.
I laughed while I was drinking water and it splashed back in my eye.
Oh dear me. But yeah, so I've been playing a mixed bag. So I've obviously I binged instead of playing games on Friday. I finished work, got home, binge watched the entirety of part 1 of season 4 of Stranger Things. Absolutely awesome for anybody who hasn't seen it. We'll get into it near the end when we do our TV show discussions. But anybody who hasn't seen it, I implore you to go and watch it. Specifically, if you love 80s in general, or like Steven Spielberg-esque kind of TV show / films. But this one's a lot darker compared to previous ones. It's a lot more brutal.
Yeah.
But obviously, Jen's watched the first episode, and he's like, "Yeah, that is brutal."
It's brutal,
and it gets even more brutal as it goes through. Much more brutal. It's absolutely awesome. Can't wait for the next section of it. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I will get into talking about that a little bit later on. Other than that, Sniper Elite 5, been playing a little bit of multiplayer on that with both Jen and Pat as well. We
was played
fun.
That last night. That was good.
That was really
sniping
fun.
each other.
Yeah. Also going to Going to play a little bit more of that, I think. The Survivor mode, which we played. We'll obviously talk about Sniper Elite 5 a little bit more as well as the show goes on. So, been playing a bit of that. Played a bit of the co-op campaign with Sharm as well on that. Been playing Flight Sim again every other day. Whether that be one of the new fighters, which I'm going to do a video on soon. Fighter bombers, which is the P-38 Lightning. And then the Top Gun expansion, which I'll also jump into in a second. What else? I'm sure I've been playing something else other than our regular Sea of Thieves Tuesdays, which of course is it was unfortunate this week, because of course we tried to do the Glitterbeard adventure, but unfortunately it bugged out. So we'd get to a certain stage, it would start to light up and it would start to work, and then a couple of the lanterns just wouldn't trigger, even though everyone was doing the right thing. So something wasn't right. It could have just been.
I think the server was bugged.
I was going to say it could have just been a server issue. And
some of the group was saying Stu's instrument weren't playing. Some of the people were saying their shadows weren't situating right.
And I think the problem was as well, specifically, was because once you've got two ships in a server, you can't leave that server, otherwise you've lost the synchronization of having the two ships in the same server. So we couldn't have backed out of that. Otherwise, we'd have lost the synchronized ships, which is one of the hardest parts to do anyway. So hopefully this time we'll load in, we'll try it again. We'll probably give it 1 or 2 tries at the beginning next time. If it doesn't work within 1 or 2 tries, because it takes 24 minutes to do it.
It's a lot of time.
It is, yeah. We tried 4 times last time, so we took up the best part of the entire night trying it.
Still a good stream, still a good laugh.
Oh, it was definitely still funny.
There was some unsavory characters that were trying to kill us. And ruin the fun. But
There's always some. But yeah, other than that, of course, it's always still a good laugh, and this week's going to be even funnier. And Studos is just saying there, if not, then Dutch needs to put glitter on his beard. I will be Glitterbeard. But yeah, other than that, it's just a case of chilling out. I'm debating on what indie game to start playing next. I still need to finish Ayuden Chronicles. I know that's about 17 hours-ish, 20 hours in total. I've probably put about 5 hours into it, so I'm about a quarter of the way through.
I've still not started it yet. I've got so many games on the go at the moment. I don't really want to start anything else yet. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you're near the end of a couple of them. So I mean, I
think I've got 1 or 2 more streams for Resident Evil 0. Tomorrow I should finish Half-Life 2, but not Half-Life 2. Half-Life 1 remake, Black Mesa. I'm losing my mind.
So free up some more time.
Yeah. I'll end up switching, I think, Resident Evil to Monday after I finish Black Mesa, so that I've got Saturday free to stream some more Hunt Showdown, because that's what I really want to stream.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's
going to be my main game.
There's so many things that I like streaming, and like I don't mind streaming shooters and things, but I only prefer streaming shooters when I've got a party of people that are playing at the same time. Otherwise, I hate just streaming it by myself. I think it's pretty boring, to be fair. Like,
yeah.
It's a party thing for me when I'm playing a shooter like a Halo or something like that. So, good evening or good afternoon, good morning, Joanna Dark. How are you doing, sir? Other than that, it's a case of I'm also deciding what to jump onto next, alongside kind of Ayuden Chronicles. I watched a little bit more of stuff Sean there playing Lost in Random, and I think actually I've got it downloaded. I haven't started it yet, but it actually looks really cool, like Tim Burton-esque.
That's the same with me. I've not started it yet.
Yeah. So I might jump on that as well and see if I can put that through. I always look, specifically with these indie-ish games, I always look to see what their completion time is. Because usually when I play indies, I don't want to dive into an indie with this that has the same kind of game completion time as a AAA game. It sounds strange, but like I play a lot of indies to have these nice, quick little adventures, nice quick little stories that I can kind of play and enjoy in a very a much shorter period of time, that I don't have to like really invest my time into. I don't want to play these huge scale indies that may as well be AAAs, if that makes sense. Is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want these nice little.
Yeah, definitely. Like, shorter indie games is decent to play when you're playing some larger games that take a longer time. Like
these short and
a
sweet
lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of games nowadays are like 15 to 20 hours long, especially some of the bigger open world games. They're even longer.
Yeah, and the
like
one thing,
Guardians of the Galaxy was like a 25-hour long game or something like that.
It was longer. Yeah. One of my favorites that always sticks out is just one of the most basic games ever, and it was a game called The Tourist. Loved it. Loved The Tourist.
I've not played that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was in Game Pass originally. I think it's out of Game Pass now, but brilliant. It's such a basic art style as well, and like the concept of the game was really easy. I am playing Weird West, but that's also a massive game. Like, yeah, you've got to play through as the woman, and then a playthrough as another character, and a playthrough as another character. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that game's big, and it's also not easy.
Yeah, that game is tough.
Difficult. Yeah, really difficult. Even on an easier setting, it's not easy.
I'll put it down for now. I'll come back to it at some point.
Yeah, when I've got more of a headspace for it, definitely. But I need to be honest. There's so many games I need to finish up. Yeah, see, so Joanna Darks played the first one. Now he's playing through as a Native American. Okay, sweet. But yes, that's pretty much it from me at the moment. I want to dive into, and we have actually we won't. Before we dive into the games that we've played and things like that, and impressions on things, we'll talk about the newest unveiling of this week, Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
Now you've just started getting back into Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, picked up where I left off. I was just heading to the planet Kashyyyk, the Wookiee planet. Did that planet today. Now went back to Zepho. Almost at that underground temple there. So just that's where I stopped. Probably going to get back into that as soon as we finish here because I'm itching to get back into it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing watching Obi-Wan probably give you a little bit more of a I want to play as a Jedi.
And in the trailer yesterday for Survivor, I was like, I've got to play Jedi Fallen Order as soon as possible. So yeah, brought it out of the backlog and started continuing my playthrough on it. So that's going to be my main game that I'm going to focus on off stream. I'm not going to stream that because I was already like quarter of the way for it, I think, or so. I don't know.
How many hours have you been playing it so far, give or take?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, because I played it on and off, and
it's about 25 hours long. It's not like uber long. It's probably the happy medium for, I would say, a happy medium for a AAA game. I think anything above 25, if you start going towards a 30 plus hour mark, you're talking a large game at that point.
I think maybe I'm about 10 hours through the game in total.
About halfway.
Because when I originally started it, took a long break from it, then I did restart it again on stream.
Yeah.
But then I took a break from streaming for a while, and now my stream schedule's different, so I'm just going to keep that as an off-stream game. Enjoy it.
And what do you make of the first one so far?
Oh, I'm loving it so far. Starting to unlock more of the powers. I think I've unlocked more than half the powers now.
Yeah.
So.
You just want that purple lightsaber, don't you?
I want that purple lightsaber, yeah. Unfortunately, I can't get it yet. So I can't be far from it, right?
No, you won't be far. Like I say, just make sure you check certain parts and certain things, and don't be scared to kill loads of enemies in different ways, because I'm sure some of them are linked to different kinds of kills and stuff like that. So, I mean, even if you have a look at the guide online, you should be able to find out how to unlock the purple colour. I'm
not too worried about spoilers, because I've seen most of this game through people streaming it on Twitch. I know what happens at the end. I know Darth Vader's in it. So it's I'm not too bothered about spoilers, but I'm still enjoying the story. I think it's amazing. So far, I'm enjoying it. I really want to see Cal Kestis in live action. So
100%.
I'm hoping he shows up maybe in the this Obi-Wan series towards the end, or maybe that Andor series.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be interesting. I don't know why they haven't already done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be cool if they bring him into live action.
Definitely. Well, I mean, one thing, like I say, the kind of bonus is that now they've recognized him in Disney as a legitimate Star Wars character. As I mentioned previously, they'd actually put a kind of fan vote up as to what's the lightsaber they want to introduce into the store, like realistic one, like I've got on the wall there. And Cal Kestis won, so now you can go to Disney and get a realistic Cal Kestis lightsaber.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So they're surely going to put him in live action canon somewhere, right? They have to.
Yeah,
He's,
and as Sean
become
pointed
a
out as
beloved
well,
character.
he played the Joker in the Gotham TV show.
I think it was probably the best part about that Gotham show. I haven't seen it all, seen clips. I think a lot of that Gotham show is...
Yeah, yeah.
But from the clips I've seen of him as the Joker, he's not too bad. So it's probably one of the defining moments in those Gotham shows.
And let's face it, BD12 is awesome.
Like he showed up in, I think it was Book of Boba Fett. It was like the Mandalorian-centric episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, are we about to see Cal Kestis in live action?
It'd be awesome if they slightly integrate him in there.
But like in terms of timeline, it'd be quite old, so I don't know how that would work.
Well,
so,
that's I know it's but at the same Darth existed at that point, so at that point he's beyond Anakin, because obviously we know Darth comes into the Cal Kestis universe, but
the Mandalorian set like
at the
10
same
years
time,
after.
Darth's main protagonist throughout the actual Star Wars series was always Luke, because Luke was the pain in his side, not Cal. So it depends on how they want to work it in, like, and of course what happens to the next section. Obviously, Cal, judging by this next game, the focus isn't on Darth. The focus is on this other Sith that they've got in this tube. And we'll speak about that new one now. The trailer for Jedi Survivor. What did you make of that?
You got the Grand Inquisitor in it, I think. I think that's the Grand Inquisitor. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But it looks like him, so I expect it to be him. And that could be really interesting because he was in the cartoon Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good character in that. So, and he's also in the Obi-Wan TV series, and I'm liking the character so far. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Inquisitors will be fighting this time.
Yes, yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, it's, you know what it is, the secondary bonus for all this as well. Secondary bonus for all this is the fact that it is next gen only. It was originally designed specific. It wasn't a case of they just dropped it off like Gotham Knights. They actually created the game for only current gen and PC from the start. They didn't just design it for the previous gen, then drop the previous gen, which is one of the first games outside of Hellblade that we know of that's going to be releasing in 23 that was designed specifically for the current generation, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
Seeing them kind of.
It's good that we're finally getting more next-gen focused games.
Yeah, and the focus on, they've mentioned specifically the lighting. They're using real-time lighting in this game as well going forwards, which is going to be unbelievable, like real-time lighting with the lightsabers.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be insane.
Like the game, the original, it still stands up well.
Oh god,
it's still got great graphics now.
Obviously on Xbox Series consoles, and I think even PlayStation 5, they've got the enhancements there as well. So it is upgraded. But it's to have it designed specifically for these newer consoles with some nice new lighting tech and some awesome audio tech and everything else. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I can't wait. Obviously, I still need to complete this one. I know what happens in the story because I've seen it, so spoilers are not too much a worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who the hell that could be in that like back to tank.
I know.
At first, like when it pans away, I thought, is that Cal in there? It looked a bit like him, and then it wasn't. So I was like, okay.
And Cal was the one standing outside of the tube looking at it.
Mm. So I don't know. Don't know who that could be.
It's very interesting to say the
No ideas.
least. Yeah, and
I've not even seen any like breakdown videos either, and I will look for breakdown videos because I want to. I want to hear people's theories.
Now
Yeah,
speculating
loads
about
out.
it. Yeah, hundreds. There's going to be hundreds of people going, I wonder who this is. This is who it is, and everyone's going to have the guesses, and I bet it's none of them. It's a new character.
See, I can't remember the character, but it also kind of reminded me of a character that was in the Clone Wars cartoon series.
Yeah.
And he was a Jedi, I think, with a yellow lightsaber.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it could be that character. I can't remember the character's name, and that's bugging me now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to watch Clone Wars again, and
Marion says Ventress. She was a Sith assassin. Yeah, but the one in the tubes at least looks male. Male chest, male features. From what I've seen anyway. But good evening, or afternoon, good morning, Marion, Joshua James, and Phanto Sir. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've had some awesome gaming time this weekend, or watched some awesome TV series, i.e. Stranger Things, and of course Obi-Wan.
everyone.
Yeah, hope you're all doing well. But yeah, it's I'm just really looking forward to, and you know what it is? It's great to be able to, as a community, know that everyone enjoyed the game. The game universally was praised. It wasn't universally, let's say, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect game. The map can do with some work. The biomes were cool, but at the same time, you go to the same biomes a few times in the game. So I think a little bit more diversity. And also the customization. The lightsaber customization was cool. But I think changing it so the kyber crystals react to your temperament as opposed to specifically just what color you want as well would be cool. So potentially if you wanted to just have a specific color, then you can select it, or you can choose to have a kyber crystal that reacts to how you are going in game, whether or not you're evil or on the good side.
Yeah, because that's pretty much how the Sith they turn their lightsaber crystals red by basically taking Jedi crystals and putting hatred into the crystal and corrupting it.
Yes.
So that would be cool if they did a light and dark type system where you can turn to the dark side if you want.
Yeah. And of course, the best and the biggest feature of the new game is the complete lack of poncho, which I think is the ultimate next-gen feature.
I'm gonna get it in a minute. I'm gonna get the poncho.
It's okay on cowboys, Jen. I'm
poncho.
not trying to hurt your feelings. Ponchos are still cool for cowboys, but not on a Jedi. Okay.
To answer your question, Marion, about the thoughts on Kenobi, I'll be talking about that in a bit. I don't think you've seen it yet, have you, Dutch?
I haven't, but I don't mind hearing about it. I'm one of them people that isn't bothered about like getting spoilt about Star Wars episodes and things, because I'll just watch it later on anyway. But yeah, we will be digging into our thoughts on both Stranger Things and Obi-Wan later on in the show, which is going to be cool. I want to hear everybody else's thoughts as well about that later on. Now Sean's given the slander. Ponchos are better than Harry Potter. I will give you ponchos are better than the first 3 movies of Harry Potter, where they're like kids. But the latter episodes, I dismiss you entirely.
I'm hoping that there is a lot more customization with Cal, so people can change the look of his clothes to their preferences.
No, I do not want to see next gen poncho physics unless I can burn the ponchos in next gen and set them alight. and never see them
I
again.
want to see next gen Poncho
I
physics.
want him to have his dressing gowns back with his hooded dressing gowns. That's what I want. like a true Jedi.
I'm fine with the ponchos. Put
Like
as many ponchos in the game as you want.
Like a true Jedi. I want a hooded dressing gowns again. Very lazy people. But yes, no, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope they do a little bit more customization on the outfits you can wear. It sounds strange, but as a Jedi, you want to be able to dress. Maybe dress a little bit more like a Sith, or dress more like a Jedi, or dress like kind of some, just, you know, choose your style a bit more for how what Cal Kestis looks like in the game. So I'm kind of hoping that they bring that forward into this a little bit more, because you could customize his poncho, but they were never that great. It was just a black poncho, or a white poncho, or a black poncho with orange, or a black poncho with blue.
Don't disrespect the poncho, Dutch.
Poncho. Yeah, Fanto, like the old KOTOR games, being able to customize and essentially make your own Jedi. Of course, keep it is Cal, and we know it's Cal Kestis, but allow us to change the outfits and things that he's wearing. And if we're gonna have a double-edged lightsaber like we can in the previous game, then allow us to showcase that like a little bit more. And whether if you
give me the cowboy hat and poncho, and I'm fine. I'll play as a cowboy Cal Kestis.
A cowboy Cal Kestis. But yeah, it just allow us to change it up a little bit and add a little bit of flair to it. Good afternoon, Boxenberger sir. How are you doing today? But yeah, change it up a little bit. Give us a little bit more customization, a little bit more biome diversity, and by that I mean when we're going to these certain sections, don't recycle them and make us go back to these certain planets a couple of times. Like if we're going to go to a planet,
yeah, that's what I feel like as well. There's a lot of back and forward.
Yeah,
I don't mind that, but it would be nice to see more diverse biomes than trees and rainy areas, because that's all I've pretty much experienced so far. And I can't remember if I've been to that sort of like red planet, red desert-y like planet. I can't remember if I've been there yet.
Don't you dare, Joshua James. Don't you dare. Boxy, I do not know what a Caprina is. I can't even pronounce it. What is
I'm
it?
Gonna
Tell
send,
me in chat.
I'm going to send Dutch a poncho for Christmas.
Tell me what that is, Boxy. I am interested to know. But you will love Stranger Things 4. Be prepared. It is brutal. Do not let the kids watch it. They will have nightmares. That is a forewarning. They will have nightmares for weeks if they watch this new series, like completely.
Yeah, I've only seen the first episode, and that ending to that first episode was brutal enough, and I'm like, how much more brutal can it get now?
Yeah. But yeah, Boxy, let me know what the hell that thing is that you're making in the chat is, because I can't pronounce it, let alone know what it is. No, have no idea what it is. Oh dear me. But yes, so I am really hyped for Jedi. The good thing is I trust Respawn. The last game was absolutely awesome, so it's one of those where it's a bit like Ninja Theory. They did an awesome job with the first Hellblade, so I know the second one will be better, which is great. Respawn did an unbelievable job with the first Jedi, so I know the second one's going to improve and be better. So I've got full confidence in both Respawn and Ninja Theory on producing and putting out an amazing product.
Pretty much thanks to Respawn that
they've got the
entirety of Star Wars wasn't ripped away from EA.
100%. I completely agree.
And they're working on, I think, 3. Well, including this Jedi Survivor, it's 3 in total. The Star Wars games are.
Yeah.
So,
EA need to be thanking them and bowing down to them that they've still got anything to do with Star Wars, because if it wasn't for them, it would have been ripped away from them. But okay, so Boxy says it's a cocktail with limes, sugar, and cachaca. Oh, cachaca, sorry. Awesome. Yes, MultiVersus. Yes, MultiVersus. We will be speaking about MultiVersus, don't you worry. Welcome to the chat, Mr. Burger Reacts. Yes, we're speaking about MultiVersus, and we'll have a little bit of gameplay on screen as well, courtesy of the General C, who provided that gameplay as well. So you'll be able to see what that looks like, how it plays, a few different characters, so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's some 1v1s in there and team mode, which I played with Stuart, who's a mod in the chat.
Yes. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit of diverse gameplay of modes in there, and a few different characters as well.
Any final thoughts on this new Jedi before we move on to the next topic?
It's going to be darker, so I expect to see, probably with a Grand Inquisitor, some more, maybe not close to Darth Vader level of force abilities, but somewhere in between that. I expect that with a Grand Inquisitor.
Right, sweet. Yes, Mr. Burger reacts. Yeah, I think we're in the MultiVersus category because we are going to be talking about MultiVersus and showing MultiVersus. So if you stick around for about 10 minutes or so, you will be seeing MultiVersus in its full glory. That's if you enjoy the show, of course. You don't have to stick around, but if you do enjoy it, do so. Thank you. But yes, going on to the next topic. We will shift over to gameplay. The next topic, of course, is the brand new expansion for Flight Sim, which is Top Gun. Of course, the Top Gun expansion is out now for Flight Sim. It is free to everybody who wants to play it. It is, of course, you would have to have Flight Sim installed. They have, I think, 12 to 14 challenges. Half of those are low-flying challenges, which you'll see now in this video. Which means you have to stick as low to the ground as physically possible, build up your points, get as many points as you can, and go from there. And, of course, try to beat high scores and things like that across the way. You also have different challenges for landing on aircraft carriers. You also have a challenge for going into the stratosphere with a new concept fighter plane, which is called the Dark Star, I think, or something close to that. So it is awesome. The challenges are actually quite fun. It does have a leaderboard as well there, so anybody who plays it, you can go up against them. Your ghost as well goes up on screen. Of course, the game looks absolutely awesome. It is fun trying to find the best route or course of action to kind of get through these valleys and stick as close to the floor as you can. If you go too high, of course, they've got like set targets as well. That's set by the game's ghost. And you've got to try and kind of beat their targets as well to beat the high score and get higher grades. So it's awesome. It's good fun. It's nice to have kind of these arcade. I wouldn't say arcade because it's still very much got the same laws of physics as regular flight sim. You can't, like in regular flying, fly through trees and not incur a penalty. Unless if you hit the trees, it just stops you and resets you. So if you beat the challenge, you get to fly against Goose's ghost. Too soon? Oh, ha ha! That's an actual Top Gun 1 reference there. I like it, Sean. Yeah, so it's actually really fun to play. It's good to have these arcadey modes in there as well, where you can challenge each other, and challenge the top scores and things like that. It isn't easy because, again, like I say, you've got to be literally hugging the floor, as you can see in the video here. You've got to be pretty much touching it on most occasions to keep the score as low as physically possible without hitting the deck. When you start getting at the valleys, it starts becoming harder. This bit, keeping it like kissing the water, is the easiest part of it. But I like the way they've done it. I would have liked to see, let's say, a little bit more of the combat atmosphere around it. I know they won't employ combat into Flight Sim, which is a shame. I would like for them to bring back combat Flight Sim in some way, shape, or form, whether that be a second mode or something. because I think that would be absolutely awesome to play with your friends, going around actually playing combat flight sim. They've got the models, they've got the world. All they need to do is just to implement kind of the weapons, the lock-ons and things like that, and I think they'd be doing really well. But I think they don't want to have that, unfortunately. But you never know what the future might hold. You haven't had a chance to play this yet, have you, Jen?
I'm not actually really into
A flight person.
flight sim, so I probably won't play it because I'm just not into it. It's more a game that I would rather watch someone else play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really into playing it myself, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Just personally not my type of game that I would enjoy playing. I'm not really into simulation type games. I don't really play them that often.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that makes sense. The one thing I will say as well is, of course, this is muted. The game itself, or at least the add-on, has the Top Gun kind of theme playing throughout. It would have been awesome to have things like Danger Zone and things playing whilst you're flying doing these missions.
I was just about to ask, is that in it?
They don't have Danger Zone on there. I think it's a missed opportunity, and they really need to put it back in because I think that would have been an awesome ad. But again, that would have been licensing. They would have had to agree for that. So, it's a cool add-on. It certainly makes you think, specifically when you're doing these low flying challenges. Where can I go? What area is going to be quicker? How can I beat the top score? Because you see here, I go really high on this particular valley bit. But I could have went down to the left and then cut through the valley in a different way, and I would have got kind of a much lower score. It's just finding the best route and trying to beat that high score, and it takes a few tries to get there. But there's 7 or 8 of them that you can play, the different kind of low flying challenges. You've got landing on an aircraft carrier. You have the Stratosphere one, which is taking the new kind of jet up beyond 120,000 feet, which is where you can see the curvature of the Earth and you're in space. And you've got to kind of launch the aircraft up to there, which has these special boosters that helps you get up to that height, and you've got to do these different maneuvers in order to launch it up further. So you take off, you're at about 30,000 feet, then you have to barrel roll it so it's upside down, nosedive it upside down, turn it back around, and then let the kind of the G-forces propel you to go even faster. So once you've got that kind of backing, then you can kind of take off and go into space. Then you launch these kind of booster things that you've got in the second one. And that starts to really propel you, and then you start going way above kind of into space and things like that. And you can go from, and this is in real time, so it obviously shows how quick this particular plane is, this concept plane. But you can go from literally one end of America, the opposite end of America, to the other side, so coast to coast, in 40 minutes in this plane, which is absolutely insane. It would essentially mean going from America through to the UK in about half an hour.
Damn.
Yep, it's a quick plane. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome, and you've got to kind of know when to turn off certain ignitions and like turn your regular engines back on and things like that. So yeah, it's awesome.
I wouldn't have a clue, mate. I played flight sim for a couple of hours, and I spent most of my time crashing. And I was like, I'm never going to learn this game.
Yeah. The beauty of this flight sim expansion, like I mentioned, is if you've already got flight sim installed, it's free. Just download it. You're on a roll. You'll have fun with it. If you don't have it installed, or if you just want to try it out, again, it's free. You can do that. You might be able to do the expansion on cloud, but I don't know, because it's a downloadable section to it, so I don't know how the cloud gaming would work with an expansion like that. But you never know. Give it a try. Might work. I would try and fast forward this video, but I'm unable. Wait a second. I might be able to now. No, I can't. I'd love to be able. Yeah, I was going to try and fast forward this video here so you can get onto the next section. But never mind. Never mind. But yes. So, highly recommend it for anybody who loves playing flight sims. If you don't worry about it. Not every game is for everybody.
Mhm.
So yeah, we will talk about, and again, this is on for another 5-6 minutes, something yet. But we will get into MultiVersus, Jen. What have you played in MultiVersus so far? How much?
Played. Must have played about 2 hours with Stu. I played 2 hours on stream and about 4 or 5 hours off stream on my own. So I played quite a bit of it. It is a hell of a lot of time. It's quite hectic. There's different modes in it. You've got 1v1s, free for all, which is the most hectic and a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I've got no footage of any free for all gameplay.
Oh, here we go.
In the
We've got some
in the
MultiVersus
footage
on screen now. There we go.
Team games are pretty fun as well when you've got an actual teammate in party chat. It was quite a bit of fun to play with Stu. We played a few times memeing people. We both played the same character. I think we played both played as Shaggy.
Adventure Time versus Superman. Is that right?
Yeah, Finn versus Superman. There's quite a significant amount of characters in this alpha. I expect there to be a hell of a lot more in the full game.
Right.
Because Warner Brothers, they own a massive roster. Personally, I went through the roster of all the characters they own. They own characters from Ed, Edd and Eddy, characters from the Goonies. There's just so many characters that Warner Brothers own that I could see going in this game.
Okay.
Because it is obviously multiverses.
Yeah.
So I expect the roster for this game to be quite big when it comes out, and they're obviously going to expand it over time. It's going to be free to play, so that roster is going to grow over time.
You're going to have battle passes and things.
Yeah, I personally see this as just one game. I don't think they're ever going to bring a sequel out to it. It'll just be something that they constantly expand upon. Yeah.
I would say it depends though. If it does well, and we know what Smash Bros is like, because this is a Smash Bros clone.
Yeah, like personally, I can't say I've played Smash Bros, so I don't know how close to Smash Bros this is.
Oh, it's identical.
From what I've seen, it looks pretty identical. Yeah. It's pretty insane. It's like a platform sort of fighter game.
Yeah, you've got to get them off the edge.
Yeah, you basically got to knock them out, and you're both building up like hit points on each other. I can't remember the actual term for those points, but like as you can see, he's like at 80 something, and it goes up and up, and the higher theirs goes, is more chances you're going to knock them right out, and they ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So, and that's obviously both your goals is to get their points up, and win 2 rounds. You can rematch people, but sometimes people get a little bit salty and don't want to rematch. So there's that. There's a battle pass system in the game as well.
Like the stage that we're seeing now is like a training
like
stage.
A training sort of stage. You've got stages in there from Wonder Woman. You got Batman's Batcave. You got the Treehouse from Adventure Time.
Yeah,
there's quite a few maps themed to each Warner Brothers sort of owned property.
How many did they give you in the early access?
I think there's about 5 or 6 maps in the closed alpha, and a few of them vary depending on if you're playing in team games or free for all. So there's slight variations. There's one map that has 2 separate sort of levels on each of the planes, and your goal is to obviously do the same thing, knock them off, but there's more sort of chance that they're going to be able to come back because the 2 platforms are quite close to each other and there's gaps in the middle that they can fall down.
Like you've got a bit of a disadvantage here against Superman.
You'd think that, but I think I end up winning this one. So Finn is quite overpowered. So, and this is the first time. I think this was my first online game. This one, and I ended up winning. You do unlock characters in it with in-game currency. I don't know if that's obviously going to change in the full game, if you're going to be able to earn in-game currency to unlock those characters.
Yeah.
But initially, I couldn't play as Batman or Superman. They're like 200 in-game, I think they're called gold coins.
Right.
To unlock each of the characters. And you've got characters in there like Arya Stark, Tasmanian Devil, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Super Saiyan Shaggy.
He's got his ultra instinct abilities from we all know from the memes. So that's pretty funny to see. Obviously Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman,
Does he do
Jake
a
from Adventure
Kamehameha?
Time.
That's my ultimate. Does he do that?
I actually can't remember if you can do that, but it's probably similar. You can pull like a sandwich out, and the sandwich goes massive, and he throws it at people. So it's like a big old Scooby snack sandwich. As I said, it's just a hectic, fun time. It's insane, especially in free for alls. It's probably the most fun I've had in the game so far. It's just you, 3 other people, and you're all just punching the living crap out of each other until you all go flying and the victor is selected. Basically, your goal is to knock them off and be the person with the highest amount of ring outs in free for all, and then that person wins.
I see we've got Stu and yourself. Now
Yeah, me and Stu here. I'm playing as Batman. He's playing as Taz. It's teams are pretty fun as well. Like I said, as long as you've got a teammate you can talk to, you have a good time. We lost a bunch because we weren't very good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the greatest of fighters in these fighting games, so I put a few defeats in here and a few victories in here. But yeah, it's insane. Like the battle pass system in this, I expect to change when the full game comes out. There's only 50 tiers in the closed alpha, and there's different ring outs and stuff. Like when you knock someone out, it'll come up a picture of you can choose either the Targaryen flag from Game of Thrones, House Stark banner, and all sorts like that of different sort of ring outs that pop up on the side. You can get the Looney Tunes one. That's all, folks. That pops up.
The bat signal.
Yeah. And you can unlock character skins as well in this game. There's like a samurai version of Batman. I forgot his name now. Shaggy's Uncle Shagsworthy is in it. As a skin for Shaggy. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Some of the characters are a little overpowered, but that's the whole point of these early alphas, is to test how characters work and balancing the characters going forward. There will be an open beta, I think, on the 22nd of next month.
Oh, sweet.
So everyone will have a chance to test this out. But I can see this being quite big, especially with Smash fans. Like, it's going to be crazy. Like, at the moment, the meta is Finn and Taz in this game. You see a lot of people playing as, because they're the most overpowered characters. They're fast and they're quite rapid. As long as you're pretty quick, you can knock people out. There's someone playing as Arya in this game. I think she kicked my ass. This person who is playing as Arya, I got my ass kicked. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to play a lot of this when it comes out, and I see this as basically the Fortnite of fighting games. This is what I fully expect this to be. I think they're going to reach out and do deals with other companies to bring characters to this game. We all heard those long, drawn-out rumors of Master Chief coming to Smash Bros. That never happened, so those rumors were false. But I could see that happening here. Master Chief going into MultiVersus. It is called MultiVersus, so they can reach out to these companies, make a deal, and go, Master Chief has been pulled in from a different multiverse, and he's here in the game to fight alongside Batman and Superman and all those characters. It's pretty silly how they brought all these characters together, but it's a good time. I love seeing all these characters on screen. The art style was amazing. It reminds me of one of the Batman animated TV shows I used to watch as a kid. It was just called The Batman, and that's what the art style sort of reminds me of.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and it looks like I say, it looks like to me like Smash Bros, or at least a game being given a Smash Bros for every platform as opposed to just Nintendo. And Smash Bros is huge for a reason. It's good fun. It's a great party game, and I think specifically if it's like you and 3 other friends, it's going to be hilarious. Like just the hectic case of.
I've seen a few other games try and do that Smash Bros type of thing that failed. I think there was one by Nickelodeon called Brawl Stars. There was
Yeah.
Brawlhalla. So
Yep.
games have attempted it, but I think this is the one that's really done the best job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to do crazy good, especially with it being free to play. It's going to be a big game. I think there's already they're already setting up tournaments for it. I think Stu was trying to talk me into applying for a tournament, but there's no way I'm going to win that. No way. I'm not good enough. I haven't got the reaction
really
times.
high level for this stuff.
So yeah, there's no way I'd do a tournament for that. I'd end up crying if
Like
I
I
lost.
used to be. I was gonna say back on Street Fighter 4, I used to be like tournament level, but only with one character. So I was like tournament level with Ken. But with any other character, I was terrible.
Yeah, and in this game, there's characters with all different abilities and such. Like Batman can throw smoke screen down, which I think allows you to do a little bit more damage and sort of more hit points go up as they're in the smoke and you're doing damage to them. So it's best for people to avoid the smoke screen. But you can stick Batman's like sticky batarangs to people and stuff like that.
I'm surprised you didn't try Bugs Bunny or anything like that.
I did, but I don't have any footage of that.
Did you try what's her face? Joker's missus?
Harley Quinn, yeah. I think Stu played as her as well in one of the games, but I can't remember if I put that in this footage because there's like 30 minutes of footage in this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like I said, I fully expect there to be a large roster to this game. They own Mortal Kombat characters, so I expect their poster boy of Mortal Kombat to show up in this game.
Yeah.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're bound to come to the game. But yeah, it's a fun time, and I can see myself playing this quite a lot when it actually comes out. And it'll probably be a game I'll stream a bit of as well when it fully comes out.
What do you make? So early impressions. What are the good things? What are the bad things?
Bad things at the moment is that they definitely need to balance some of the characters, especially like I mentioned with Taz. There's like a move he can just spam. He's like tornado spin thing that he does, and you can just do that constantly, and it's pretty hard unless you're like really good at the game to avoid that if you're in his path. Same with Finn, he has like a spin move as well, and like a high five slap that he does. They just need to balance the speed of the characters, especially with Superman. He feels really slow, and you'd think that wouldn't be the case. Superman, he's the Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He should be able to fly faster, but it seems very slow with Superman. So just some of those characters you'd expect to be a bit more tougher and faster need to be balanced a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some balancing issues there, but it's an early alpha. They can fix that during however many tests they do before they decide to launch this. There's no official release date yet, but I think if all goes well with the next...
I was going to say it's going to be this year. If they're going to do an open
it's
beta
definitely
in
coming
July,
this year. So,
I would expect it to be maybe August, September.
I expect them to do the next open beta, and then maybe after that they'll bring the game out and it'll stay in an open beta while they work on things.
Yeah.
And add to the game over time. I can fully see that being the thing. Because I think when Fortnite originally came out, that was in beta for quite some time. I think, is that game still technically in beta?
What, Fortnite?
Fortnite. I can't remember who told me it, but it's still technically in beta because they change it drastically quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this will be an early access type situation when it comes out, and they'll just add to it over time. There's definitely a lot of balancing issues that they need to get right, and they could easily do that over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Just tone some of the characters down and buff some of the characters you'd expect to be a little bit more on par with some of these other characters.
Yeah, it depends as well who you're facing off against, I suppose, because if you're getting some actual like fighting fighting players in here that usually play the likes of Street Fighter or Killer Instinct or something like that, it's going to be a tougher
Yeah.
time getting used to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because those people
They're used to
they
like
practice
crossover
with their
combos and things.
they practice those games every day of their life pretty much. As they live and breathe fighting games. So I'd fully expect someone that's more used to fighting games to just obliterate you with any character they use.
Yeah. What do you make? So what's a good point so far then from what you've played?
For a closed alpha, it's really smooth and responsive. And it's quite a surprise. But I think the fun factor for me is playing as all these different Warner Brothers characters in one game.
Yeah.
That's where the fun is at for me. Yeah. I could see myself coming back to this multiple times, trying out new characters that are added to it, and just having a good time with mates in some team games or some free-for-all games. I think you said that you're probably going to do a community sort of night for this when it's out.
Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be a good time.
This and the other one, forgotten the name of it now. Fall Guys? No, not Fall Guys. Yeah, it is Fall Guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Fall Guys, yeah.
Yeah, this and Fall Guys I'll be doing community nights for, definitely.
But yeah, it's as a person that's not good at fighting games, I don't really take these type of games too seriously. It's more the fun for me.
Yeah.
Just, I know I'm going to get my ass kicked most of the time. Just come on to smash some buttons and have fun.
The good thing about Smash Bros. And this game, which is very much the same, just different characters, is that it is meant to be for, of course, they've got a hardcore tournament kind of style group of people that play them, but it is, unlike Street Fighter, etc., is more as a party game kind of fighting game.
It's very, very more casual, I would say. There's no major combos in this game. You're not going to throw a huge combo as Shaggy and beat people with a massive combo that you've trained and practiced over and over again. Yeah. It's very button smashy, and I think that's what appeals to most of the casuals. Is that there's not this massive list of moves that you have to study to get okay at the game or good at the game. You can just pick it up, press buttons, and hopefully win. Most of the time, you're probably not if you're like me and you're not great at fighting games, but I still have a good time, and really that's all this game is about. It's about a good time. It's not like a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter or Killer Instinct. It's definitely a more casual, friendly, aimed at all audiences, families. I could imagine people that have got kids would play this with their kids, just have a laugh.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about as well. That's what it's all about. So early thoughts.
I think that's what I like so much about it. Yeah, very positive. I do like fighting games, just not good at them. My favorite fighting game of all time is Mortal Kombat, and if they bring Mortal Kombat characters to this, I'm going to love it. So, yeah, I'm very positive about this game so far. Not many negatives apart from the balancing of the characters. That's my my issue there is that, but it's a great time.
I'm just looking at the different characters they've got on here, man. They've got Bugs Bunny going in there with Zacme rocket launcher, and it just looks silly fun, and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's silly fun. It's just pick up and play, good time, have a laugh with your mates in party chat, and just kick the crap out of each other while laughing.
Yeah, it looks awesome. To me, what it looks like at the moment is potentially they've got it in alpha to maybe just stress test it a little bit, see what the servers and things are like, but also I would imagine doing potentially just doing it for balancing. So getting people in to do balancing tests on some of the characters and things like that.
One mode I would like to see come to this though is like a tag team. Maybe you and a team of your friends in party, like 4v4, and it's a tag team situation. Maybe if your character gets knocked out, the next person's character comes in to continue the fight. Yeah. That's a mode I'd like to see added to the game. It's not in this. Whether they have got plans for that, I have no ideas. But yeah, I'd imagine they'd bring all sorts of modes to this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It would be hilarious if they did like a massive sort of arena map battle royale style. Like, I don't know, in terms of scale, it would have to be like, I don't know, 20 players or so on one massive map fighting for whoever's the last fighter standing. That could be hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, did you notice, because of course in the opening trailer that we saw, we didn't see Wonder Woman in that. Was Wonder Woman available as selectable in the alpha or not?
Yes, she's in the alpha. Yeah, and I fully expect more DC characters to come to the game, like Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Joker, Robin, Shazam. I reckon they'll all come to the game over time.
Yeah.
The roster I expect to be bigger when the game launches, whether that's in early access or what.
I think if you can get Elmer Fudd in there as well, that would be hilarious.
Yeah. The list of Warner Bros. Characters is vast. They're going to have a field day adding some of these characters to it. I'd love to see Ed, Edd and Eddy in this game. I'd love to see Sylvester and Tweety. Although I think with Sylvester and Tweety, it might be a reskin of Tom and Jerry, because Tom and Jerry is in this.
Yeah.
The closed alpha. So I fully expect that to be a reskin of Tom and Jerry. Maybe with a few different moves. But yeah, it's something to put on your watch list if you're into fighting games or just into silly fun.
Sourblow's asking, how is the game?
A lot of fun. If you're someone that doesn't take fighting games too seriously, it's a must play, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's all about the fun with this game.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be taken seriously. It's definitely not a Street Fighter super high competitive game where you need to practice a character over and over again and learn their entire move set from top of the list to the bottom of the list, including like there's no finishing moves or anything like that either, like combat. It's just hit buttons, have fun, and rinse and repeat.
Definitely. Oliver Queen?
Yep, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen. Add him to the game.
Yep.
And get Stephen Amell to voice act him. I'll be fine with that.
There's Smash Bros. Lite. Judging by it, it's not Smash Bros. Lite. It's just Warner Brothers Smash Bros.
And it's coming to pretty much all platforms. It's not locked to one platform.
Not locked to Nintendo, and obviously rightfully so for Nintendo. It's a exclusive IP, so obviously it's never going to come to anywhere else. And they've done a really good job on adding characters. They've got obviously they've Metal Gear. They've got Solid Snake in there. They've got Resident Evil. They've got who else have they got? They've got Final Fantasy characters, Cloud and Sephiroth, and they've got so many kind of awesome additions to that game as well that they've worked on over years. But with each passing game, they've removed certain characters and added new ones. So the new one isn't the same as the previous one. But I think it's again...
A lot of people have been asking for a game like this on other consoles. I think PlayStation attempted it with... What was that game of theirs? PlayStation All-Stars. They attempted a fighting game. Can't remember how close of a representation that was to Smash Brothers, but they tried their fighting sort of genre game with all their characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I think this will do...
Nintendo tried with Brawlhalla or whatever it was.
Yeah, Nickelodeon tried with Brawlhalla and it didn't do so well. Not Brawlhalla, Nickelodeon Brawl Stars. Brawlhalla was a different game, but it of the same sort of fighting style.
Fighting style, yeah, exactly.
I don't know how well that game did. It's not something that I've ever looked at.
Not very. Otherwise, we'd still be hearing about it today.
Yeah, but I fully expect this to do well, being multi-platform and free to play.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd say it's a must-play. Pick up, give it a download. I don't think it's going to be a massive game to install either. I think it was like 4 gig the alpha, so I don't expect it to be much bigger than that when the full game comes out.
All in on the same character there against the other guys.
Yeah, that's when we were doing the memes, playing as the same character.
Oh dear me. But yeah, so overall, positive impressions for this one so far.
To answer Sour Blow Gaming's question, I've never played Brawlhalla. I've never played any fighting game that's this style. I've not even played Smash Bros, but it's worth a try.
You
Yeah,
said
very
it feels
positive
smooth, it feels
feeling.
good.
Yeah, for an alpha, it felt unbelievably smooth, which you wouldn't expect. There was a few issues that we did have. I think me and Stu had to restart the game at least once because there was a issue where it kicked me out of the game but wouldn't reload the game. And that's the only major issue that I had with the game.
Right. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, I think it's been an awesome coverage of it so far. So are you excited for this to come out properly? You're excited for
Oh
more
yeah,
people to get on this?
definitely. Excited to play as more of a DC characters. Excited to hopefully play as Scorpion if they bring him to the game. I think they will. Like, you don't have a fighting game and not bring one of the biggest characters of a fighting game to it, and you own that character. So
Isn't
yeah.
Deadpool DC?
No, he's Marvel.
Is he?
Yep. He was owned by Fox. Disney bought Fox, and now Deadpool is going into the MCU at some point. They're actually still allowing that to be a rated mature 18 in the UK for the third Deadpool movie.
I always thought Deadpool was a DC. Obviously, I'm wrong. Deathstroke is DC.
He's more of a parody, I guess, to Deathstroke, which is DC's sort of version of him. They both share like the same sort of surname. He's more of a parody to that character.
Right. Okay.
Because he's called Wade Wilson and Deathstroke is called Slade Wilson.
Oh God.
He's definitely a play on that character, but a lot more sillier.
Right. Fair one. See, all them know the same. Dear me. Okay, so I need to brush up on my DC and Marvel knowledge then.
I'm a big DC and Marvel nerd, so.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Yeah, it's an awesome wrap up of it then. So obviously look forward to that coming into Open Alpha on 22nd of July. Thanks to Stu who posted that. I believe it's chat earlier.
22nd of July. So yeah, if it's something that you're interested in for seeing the gameplay here, check it out. It's worth it. It's worth the check out and try.
Sweet. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit further, and we're going to go into a little bit of our next topic here, which is Sniper Elite 5. So, we've both been playing this. You streamed it a little bit, and then we played some multiplayer the other night as well, and then played a little bit of Survivor. After we'd played, of course, and I was streaming it, but after we played, I jumped in and recorded a little bit more footage of Survivor with some randoms. It's definitely an awesome game. It's fun to play.
It's a hell of a lot of fun.
The X-ray kills never get old.
Especially the testicle shots. They're bloody hilarious. My first kill in that game was in the testicles. I was like, I've got to do it, right? It's got to be done. The first kill has to be a testicle shot.
Yeah.
You just see his nuts explode. It's brilliant. And speaking of testicles, sponsored by Manscaped. So
yes, sponsored by Manscaped.
Take care of your testicles.
Take care of your smooth testicles thanks to Manscaped with 20% off using code MWMU at manscaped.com.
That was a pretty smooth segue into the sponsorship there. And if you want to be smooth, Manscaped.
Yeah, Manscaped. Make sure you're smooth. Just like this guy's testicles. See? That was perfect timing. The testicle shot as well. Dear me. Right. Anyway. But yes, it's the good thing about this game as well, specifically for me, is the game mode styles I've got in there now. Multiplayer is hard as nails.
It is.
Because it is essentially
so sneaky.
Sniper free for all. Everybody is a sniper on the map. It's not just one person. Everyone's a sniper. It's so hard to spot people from any angle. But there is free for all, so you can set up custom games, which we'll have to do. If anybody wants to play a huge custom game where we're all against each other, download Sniper Elite 5. We'll have some fun. It is hilarious.
It is in Game Pass as well, so
yeah, it's in Game
Pass. Can't hurt in trying it.
Also, you've got campaign. You've got campaign co-op. Within campaign, you also have a feature called Invasion, which is very much like an Elden Ring-ish style thing where an opposing player can join the game with an overpowered character and hunt you down whilst you're trying to complete the mission.
I've got a question for you with that. How are you liking the invasions? I dislike them. I've turned them off now.
Okay. In co-op, it is both frustrating and good because if you are being invaded whilst trying to do the missions, you get double the XP. So it has its benefits. It of course means you can unlock things quicker. You get levels up quicker. You increase your character's abilities quicker, which means that eventually, anyway, because the characters are maxed out when they invade you, you'll also max out quicker doing that. So of course, if you just want to go through the game nice and easy without being bothered, then turn off invasion. You do have the option on the menu to turn invasions off.
I tried it out.
Yeah.
The first time I had an invasion was on my stream when I first streamed the game on Thursday, just gone. But I don't know if the guy actually connected or not because he just couldn't find me and I couldn't tell where he was. And then I ended up getting killed by the AI anyway. And then he was no longer in the game. So,
oh well.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. And
sometimes the opposing invading players are terrible. We've seen one that was literally trying to snipe us whilst standing on the top of a hill in plain view. We were like, really? Really?
It was the second one that kind of pissed me off, which was yesterday's, my second invasion. I was just doing the missions and it popped up invasion. I don't know where he was, but he just sniped me like that. I was gone. So I was like, nope, that's going off. I've got to get that off.
Yeah.
And I was just like mopping up like the map and all that because like I restarted the game. It's tough. Just on normal, it's tough. So I had to turn it down to easy. No shame in it. Apart from Colin Moriarty might DM me telling me I'm not a real gamer.
No, there's no shame.
Yeah,
it can
tough.
Be specifically when you get later on in the levels, and you start to get the opposing snipers that are pinpoint accurate.
There's so many enemies around. Like as soon as you kill one, they start surrounding you. You're pretty much buggered. I got stuck in a bunker, and I had to fight my way out of the bunker. So yeah, I ended up turning the difficulty down to not very easy, just easy.
Yeah.
Just to make things a little bit more easier and less stressful on myself, because I just want a good time, not a pain in the arse time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I turned invasions off after turning the difficulty down as well.
Yep.
I think I'm just going to enjoy the story without invasions through my first playthrough.
Yeah.
And then maybe turn it back on my second playthrough when I'm a little bit more leveled up, and expecting it because I'm in my first playthrough. I'm not paying attention to being invaded or anything like that. I'm just doing my objectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, campaign's cool. Pretty straightforward. Designs. You've got multiple objectives you can do, depending on what the level is. You've got loads of collectibles. You've got good levels up. You've got separate characters for each game modes. You've got campaign characters you can level up. You've got survival characters that you level up. You've got multiplayer characters you can level up, and then you've got an invasion character that is already maxed out. So each one of them you upgrade separately. The good thing about the online character, at least the one for Survivor, is it matches the campaign. So when you've upgraded all your weapons and things in campaign, you've got those same upgrades in survival as well, which is really cool. And I do like it. Survival mode is so hectic. There's so many people who come from different locations.
Me, you, and Pat played it last night, and it was quite insane.
Yeah, yeah, and
you can see like your teammates' headshots and all that stuff.
Yeah, Like that, like I say, we mentioned that before. The X-ray stuff never gets old, especially when you see, because you can see each other's cool kills. Like when
Mm,
obviously, like that video that Pat put up where he blew that guy's teeth
mm.
out his face.
Yep.
Brutal, but so awesome to see that X-ray stuff, and it's a unique feature to this game. Like no other game does
Mm.
that X-ray type kill in a shooting game anyway, outside of Mortal Kombat. Um,
Yeah, it's just the first Sniper Elite game I've played since the second one.
yeah,
So I pretty much enjoyed my time so far. It's a lot of fun, apart from having to turn the difficulty down because it's a bit tough.
yeah.
It's a good game. I'm enjoying it.
And of course, they've got a fully fledged multiplayer mode as well, where
Mhm.
you've got team-based games, you've got squad-based games, and of course, then you've got custom games where you can do free-for-alls, which we played a little
Yeah.
bit of. It was three of us just against each other on the Normandy landing beach, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And also a lot of fun because specifically when everyone's trying to be sneaky, which is the whole point of the game anyway, everyone's a sniper and they're trying to sneak around, not knowing where anybody is at any given time and trying to have to, and several other people might be looking at you at the same time, and when you zoom
Yeah,
down your
yeah.
scope, you give off a glare. You think, I need to be careful when I'm actually looking because someone might see me.
There was a few times yesterday in the free-for-alls where you and Pat was right next to each other. You wouldn't believe how close you were to each other. And I just see both the glints, and I'm like, they're aiming at me, aren't they? And it was Pat that got me. It's just hilarious. Like, there was a point where me and Pat were right on top of each other. He's on the boat, wasn't it? He's
Yeah.
like right at the top, and I'm only like down a little bit below him. So I killed you, and then he knew where I was, and that's when you told me that we were both near each other. So I started throwing my grenades up top to flush him out, and then I went round and flanked him, shot him in the back with the Thompson. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a really fun game, to be honest. And like I say, I think thankfully it is on Game Pass. I would say a lot of people probably would have overlooked it if it wasn't for the fact that it was on Game Pass. But I would definitely implore anybody who's got the ability to do so to download it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Like I say, the X-ray kills never get old.
Especially when you get a testicle shot, it's hilarious.
Yeah, testicle shots. Testicle shots for the win. Or even, like I say, blowing someone's teeth out their face. That's always hilarious as well.
There's an achievement in this game for shooting Hitler in the testicles, killing him by shooting him in the testicles.
I think there is. There's also an
That's
achievement
bloody hilarious.
Also an achievement, which I got the other day actually for getting a kill by shooting every organ. So obviously you shoot every organ once. So legs, testicles,
cool. I don't know if I've got that yet.
Skull, teeth, arms, whatever it is. So that's funny. Liver shots, heart shots, stomach shots. And each one of them, and like I say, they've got X-ray detail of every part of the body that can implode.
There's a shot I took on. It was directly on a dude's eye, and you just see his eye explode. It's like, oh, it's pretty graphic, but it's so good.
Yeah, eyeball shots, everything. It's so good.
I shouldn't say that though, because apparently video games cause violence in the real world.
Yeah, not guns. They don't do the violence. It's the video games. But never mind. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Like I say, I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more. I'm going to try and get a few more people to play on the multiplayer as well. Because the multiplayer, specifically when it's free for all, I think it'll be hilarious when you've got a full party of people on that. Imagine having like 12 people playing free for all.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Jesus,
no one's going to want to move. They're just going to be hunkered up with a sniper rifle. Like, where is everyone?
Yeah, and this specific map on here, the chalets in the middle of the mountains, that was the most difficult map of them all. Like, at least when you've got a specific high ground and then an open area, you kind of know where people might be. But not when there's hundreds of houses with lots of windows and balconies. And
that point yesterday when I was shooting at you, and then I was like, oh, I'm just going to try and sneak up there. And I snuck up there. I was about to jump through the window, and you was in the window that I was about to jump through. And that's when I ran off. Ran off up the stairs, and you come chasing me.
Yeah. You still don't know how you managed to dodge them bullets, to be fair.
Neither do I. I think when you hit the Y button, it automatically assumes you've already gone into the animation.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what stopped me from being killed.
Lucky. The only thing I would say is I would love, and again, this is due to perks and things, but I'd love for him to not be out of breath within 10 footsteps.
Mm.
You're like running, he's like, you're like, fuck me, mate. Are you like the most unfit military guy in the world, or what?
Oh, it sounds like me when I run down the stairs to answer the door to get an Amazon package.
Never know now like it. But yeah, it's a load of fun. I highly recommend everybody to download it if they've got Xbox Game Pass, and if anybody's played a Sniper Elite on any other console before and you've liked them, this one's going to be much better than the previous ones. This survivor mode's fun as well, and I think with a full team of 4, and if everyone's actually working together as a team, you'll do well. I know, having played through up until, on this one, you get up until like C and D, where you keep moving further and further down the maps, and you get more open and open as it goes. They start introducing actual full tanks against you. You've got soldiers with rocket launchers that start launching airstrikes against you and everything like that. It starts getting really hard, and the amount of soldiers, as you can see on here as well, is literally hundreds of them, and they start flanking from every location. So you really need to be working together. And of course, your ammo doesn't
last. AI
last.
is pretty smart.
Yeah, and the ammo doesn't last forever either. Ammo does run out. And you need to start scrounging it from dead bodies, or using your pistol, or using your side weapon, whatever it is. Grenades, anything you can do. Look, I'm starting to shoot them down with pistols now because I run out. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's loads of weapons to unlock as well, so you can get like higher powered rifles and such.
Yeah. So there we go. We've got Studos and Stuffed Sean giving us a download now. So awesome. Definitely jump on. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I might be up for a few rounds after this before I jump on Star Wars.
That's the spirit. Yeah,
I am itching to get back into Star Wars though. I got an addiction to it now. Like playing it for 3 hours straight. I just want to crack on with it now.
It is awesome. To be fair, it's awesome. But yeah, we'll certainly have a few rounds, a few free for alls. I think that'll be funny. But yeah. So it's definitely an awesome game. I highly recommend it. It's not without its little bugs and flaws and things, but it's a relatively decent game, specifically for a Rebellion game. They've done quite a good job with it. Graphically, looks nice. The maps are nice and varied.
I just want Rebellion to remake that Judge Dredd game now. It's like it's been so long since we've had a decent Judge Dredd game, and Judge Dredd vs. Death was so good. It's like, remake it, please. You remade a game like Rogue Warrior, I think it was. Was it Rogue Warrior?
Yeah.
Just remake it. It's Judge Dredd. Everyone wants Judge Dredd. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Star Wars. Speaking of Star Wars, do it. That meme never gets old. Oh dear me. But yes, so yeah, very positive impressions. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It's not a game you need to take seriously, which is another benefit to it. It's not a game that you need to you've got to be pro at. You can just have fun with it. Yeah, that's the best praise I can give it. It's a game that you don't need to take seriously. You can have a lot of fun. If you die, you die. If you win, you win. Awesome stuff. The X-ray kills more than make up for it.
There was a few bugs I've had with the game where like the map has broke down around me. There was a point where my weapon disappeared.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, it's nothing too bad though. Just nothing like on the level where the game actually broke or crashed or anything like that. Just a few more like texture issues with the map disappearing and stuff like that. But in a day where most games launch broken, this is one of the games with the least problems.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I've had a couple of little ones. I had one with Sean when we were playing co-op where we both fell through the same part of the map, and we were hanging on to a bit of scenery underneath the map, but couldn't get back up. And it was like the
Oh my
most
God.
random place. Like you would, if you looked for it, you would never have found it. It was like a little bit of grass on the side of the road that we both happened to
Mm.
fall through. And
Oh
it was
my
like,
God, what
this
are the
is like
chances?
such the most random. And you wouldn't have unless you went up this random road that you didn't technically need to be there. You would never have found that spot that you could fall through anyway. So it was like, okay,
Mm.
that's extremely random, and it's not really. It is a bug, but it's not because you would never go there anyway. Like, why would you go here? There's nothing here. So other than that, and once where the target that we had to kill in I think the first or second mission didn't appear. Like his car was there, but he wasn't in the map, and it kept on saying that he was in a certain vicinity, but he wasn't. So all we did was reload that particular mission, and then he appeared straight away. But yeah, it wasn't like game breaking. It was a case of, oh no, I would just quickly reload it. It'll be fine. Yeah, other than that, it's been fine. It's been great. It's a lot of fun. It's daft fun as well, and sometimes you need them games that you don't have to take seriously.
Yeah, that's what my opinion is with it as well. It's not a hugely serious game. Look, you can get kills shooting people in the testicles. That's enough to tell you it's not a serious game.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, when you're aiming for someone's testicles as well, just to get that X-ray vision shot of the testicles blown up.
Yep. Yeah. I'd highly recommend it to people to play. Not the being shot in the testicles. That I definitely wouldn't
not
recommend.
Getting shot in the testicles. No, that wouldn't be nice.
Because that's not good for anyone. That
no. No,
because then you won't be able to use Manscaped. Yeah. That's like the thing. As soon as you go on Manscaped, right? They've have you been shot in the testicles? Yes. Then you're not allowed to shave them.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. You don't need to shave them.
You don't have testicles. It's not for you.
But yeah, it's apart from a few issues I've had with the game, I'm having a good time with it.
Yeah, same. It's fun, and it's one of them games you can easily drop in and out of. Have some fun with. No sweat if you want to bounce off it or just jump into it. If you want a little bit, like I say, have a little bit more of a pain in the arse session, then Survivor's the way to go. Because although you're still getting your X-ray kills, it ramps up the difficulty substantially with the amount of enemies on screen. And how many people you've got to kill, and the waves get more steadily more difficult. But yeah, it's still a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it till completion. So
100%.
It's worth that. Well worth that.
Yeah. Sweet. And next, our little segue. No more gameplay on screen. Because we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to discuss the first one before I jump into the second one. And this is a one that I have not watched yet, but Jen has. Obi-Wan. So.
Oh, it's so good.
Let's discuss Obi-Wan, of course, and Stranger Things have both come out this week with their new series. Jen has watched I think it's only the first episode that's out now, or is it first two?
Both. First two episodes.
First two episodes of Obi-Wan.
First two episodes available to watch. There's
what
6 in total.
Impressions so far of Obi-Wan?
It just feels so good to see Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan. I've wanted to see this for quite a while. There was supposed to be the Obi-Wan movie in the works, but then it evolved into this show, which I much more prefer because it's even larger now. It's like a 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
So, and you get the first 2 hours on Disney Plus right now, and then the rest of the 4 episodes that are coming will be weekly. I think I prefer weekly than binging the entirety of a show nowadays, to be honest. Having so much time with Netflix, then again, it really does depend on the show.
Yeah.
So, like with something like Stranger Things, I remember binge watching those and being like, shit, I could watch more of this. But yeah, I do like that mystery of waiting the week to see what's going to happen, and that tension that builds up within you. So, and then you get excited when the day it comes to it. So I'm really excited for the future episodes of this. Darth Vader's returning. obviously you would know that if you've paid attention to the news. Obi-Wan being back in our hearts is something I've wanted to see for quite a while. Ewan McGregor, again, does a great job. Yes, it's cheesy, but what Star Wars property hasn't got cheesy elements to it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so special and great is that level of cheesiness. But like from the opening, you get a recap. If you have if you're first watching the show, it gives you this recap, basically of the trilogy that they're in.
Yeah.
Anakin and Obi-Wan, and it really catches you up to speed if you haven't watched those movies in quite some time.
Yeah.
So it gives you all the important moments between Anakin and what led to him becoming Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. The cinematography in this is really good. There's on the second episode, there's like a really like neon lit cyberpunky type city that really feels like it's space Tokyo, and it was visually stunning. Like there's always neon sort of like lighting and stuff like that. It's I just can't explain it. It's like awe-inspiring, you know, to see it again and remembering sitting in the cinema as a kid experiencing these movies. It's like that again.
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain, but that feeling of nostalgia there is perfect, and you don't always get that with something that's been sort of this long in the making.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes along and it's like, well, that wasn't as good as I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But that's not what I feel with this. I feel like this is what I've wanted to see for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go too much into spoilers because I think everyone that is a Star Wars fan should watch this. It's probably dethroned Mandalorian for me.
Oh. And you love the
Mandalorian. Mandalorian was my favorite Star Wars property in recent years, and it's just it took me back to being a kid in the cinema, sitting in the cinema with my dad, and it kind of brings a tear to my eye thinking about that.
Do you think I want to mention this whilst you're on it? Do you think the recent spate of Star Wars series, i.e., Mandalorian and now Obi-Wan, which seems to be hitting the right notes, gives more confidence to the future of Star Wars as a mainline IP in terms of its films? Do you think you're expecting a better set of next films because of how the series have done following the previous films' releases?
Yeah, I expect story to be a lot better in the next, whatever the next Star Wars movies are gonna be. I expect more from it now because the TV shows have done really well to give us that breather in between movies that we needed, especially after the last trilogy. As much as I love those movies, it's not the same. Those movies didn't feel as good. Whether that will change over time, like it did with many people for the prequel trilogy. A lot of people look back on those films now and go, they weren't really as bad as I remembered them. But I've always loved those movies, even though they are cheesy. The acting can be a bit wooden. I love it. I grew up with it as a kid.
Yeah.
That feeling of being a kid in awe, seeing your the first lightsaber ignite on screen is awe-inspiring. You sit there and you're like, holy shit, as a kid. And it brings me back to that. It's so good how it really does bring the nostalgia back round to those moments that we were all growing up with these characters. And it does bring a tear to my eye. I had a tear in my eye when I first started the episode. I was like, shit, I can't believe this is happening now.
Yeah. Seeing the Jedi's back in an actual good role again.
Yeah, it's really good. You get young Luke in this, although Obi-Wan doesn't interact with him. There's like a scene where he's bought this like toy sort of fighter jet, well, not fighter jet, but like spaceship, sci-fi sort of spaceship toy for Luke. and he leaves it on the doorstep, but Luke's uncle sort of throws that back in Obi-Wan's face. But that is the exact same toy ship that Luke is playing with in A New Hope. And it really that hits you in the feels when you realise that. It's like, shit, that's what Luke was playing with. Yeah, the little references. You do see young Princess Leia in this. It's heavily, her character is heavily in this. Not as much as like Luke, just in the distance.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see like a young Leia. She actually does interact with Obi-Wan in episode 2, and that's really cool. I don't want to go into spoilers because it's just so good.
Stuff Sean said Filoni in the Kevin Feige role.
Definitely. Filoni and what's his name? He did the first 2 Iron Man movies. I'm blanking on his name there, and that's kind of disrespectful. I should remember it. Fuck.
I've just realised as
Jon
well,
Favreau.
Episode 15 on here, or the entire episode. Apologies for that. Get that changed for the tail end of this. It's not episode 15.
Jon Favreau, either Filoni or Jon Favreau, they need to take the reins and lead Star Wars, because everything they've paved the way for with The Mandalorian, yes, there was some hiccups with Boba Fett, and I expect that to be studio interruptions and meddling. Just lay off, let these 2 geniuses work on Star Wars, because when they're doing it, and they're doing it right, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
But they made pretty much the Clone Wars together. The entirety of the Clone Wars was down to them 2, mostly Dave Filoni. And that's why people loved it so much, because it felt Star Wars. They knew what they were doing with Star Wars. They knew Star Wars. They lived, breathed it. They made it.
Yeah.
Let them take the lead, because I feel like, is it Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing with Star Wars.
Yeah. I'd agree with
and
that.
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau do. So please, like, for the love of God, let them take the reins. But yeah, I would highly recommend this show. It's definitely taken over Mandalorian, in my opinion. It's my favorite Star Wars show, and I can't wait to see more. And then you've got like the Ahsoka TV series in the works, and now Andor, which the trailer for that looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So it gives me high hopes that Star Wars is back on the right track.
The future of Star Wars.
Yeah. I can truly say that Star Wars is going back on the right track. And I don't know if you've heard, but I think it's Taika Waititi who's done the last 2 4 movies, with obviously the Love and Thunder coming out soon.
I can't wait for that.
Apparently he's been fast tracked into doing the next Star Wars trilogy movies.
That would be good, as long as the thing is with Star Wars, you don't want the humor back in like we got with Jar Jar Binks. Like Star Wars needs to not have that humor. It needs to be more of a serious...
I don't see that type of humor being in it. I think his Star Wars movie could be something special, though.
Yeah. Oh,
he's quite the visionary.
Director. Just of course, what we've seen from him specifically with the Marvel IP is a comedic section to that, which is good. But yeah. I just seen Marion's post there. Bad Batch season 2's just dropped as well, and that's
Star Wars related as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall, early impressions, first 2 episodes, love it.
They were amazing. Yeah. I'm going to rewatch them. I've already rewatched them.
Before you start rewatching them, you've got something else to watch, and we're going to talk about that now.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already rewatched those first 2 Obi-Wan episodes. I've seen them twice now, and I want to rewatch them again, so that should say something.
Yeah. And speaking of rewatching, I've just started rewatching Stranger Things as well, again. Stranger Things Series 4, Part 1. of course, came out. 8 or 9 episodes. Can't remember how many it was altogether. I just blended into one because I watched it all at the same time. Awesome, absolutely awesome, brutal. Far more gritty, far more dark. The lead protagonists plays on your regrets and fears, and twists those into hallucinations. So whatever you've done wrong in the past, he makes you kind of live through that in hallucinating that particular moment again and again, and obviously makes people get really scared and they don't know what's happening and start getting headaches and things like that, and preys on them in that sense. It is brutal, as you've seen the first episode so far. What did you make of the first episode?
I felt like it dragged out, but it's not the bad sort of feeling of dragging out. It has been 3 years since the last season, so I can see why they did that, and it felt like it was dragging something out the right way, not like how a lot of movies drags unnecessary crap out. It was re-establishing characters, expanding upon what we already know about these characters, and it did it really well.
And introducing new characters.
Yeah, it introduced some new characters. That wacky guy with the long hair who's in the school. I like him. I think he's a really cool character. He reminds me of a younger. I'm blanking on his name there. Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he reminds me of a younger Robert Downey Jr. It's like, is he related to Robert Downey Jr. or something? I have no idea, but it reminded me of him.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I think with episode 1 as well, it felt much longer than it was because there was so much happened in the first episode. Like a lot happened in the first episode.
They're like roughly a 1 hour and 20 minutes an episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
That first episode was close to 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think.
After that, they get a little bit shorter. The opening episode's longer. The closing episode's longer. But yeah, it's so many things happened in that first episode. So many. You had the catching up with the characters. So
you see Elle's sort of new life in California, and that she's been pretty much bullied at school and such. That was kind of heartbreaking to see.
It was horrible to see as well. And the fact that in this one, because at the end of the last series, for those who have caught up to that point, she no longer has her powers because obviously they closed the gate. In doing so, she exerted all of her strength and efforts into closing that gate. Her powers were sapped, she drained, completely lost them. So she doesn't have powers. So in this first episode, you see that while she's being bullied, she would love to be able to use them, and she can't. And
I would love to have seen that as well.
Yeah,
that bully was really aggravating me.
God. Isn't it like when you're watching that segment, you like, I feel sorry for her because like she would just wreck her.
It's just heartbreaking to see that scene.
She would wreck her.
Yeah. The acting in this show is on another level.
Yeah.
They're all so great. Like all those kids, the way they've grown up throughout the shows and developed as actors, they're going to have great careers going forward.
100%. I want to see it now. Like the series throughout the course of Stranger Things across the board, these kids that have been acting in this series alone are better actors than in Harry Potter whilst they were kids by a long shot.
Yeah.
By a long shot. So talented, all of them, whether that be Elle, whether that be Dusty,
careers.
Whether that be whatever it is, all of them are really great actors and actresses. They portray the emotions well throughout it. Like at the end of the last season, it was heartbreaking when she was reading the letter from a dad. And I can't go into what happens in this season. Obviously, we know in the teasers you see the character that died. And the previous one isn't dead in this one, so it's in the trailers. You can see that. But to close off the last season thinking he's been obliterated and she no longer has and she has to read his letter. Like, that was heartbreaking to do that because he was like reliving some of the moments with her and things like that, and she believes he's dead. And in this series as well, she has absolutely no idea the entirety of the series, because she's got an entirely separate segment, and you'll see that as it plays out. I'll not go into it, but she has no idea that he's still alive, like at all. She doesn't even find out in this part of the series that he's still alive either. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that interaction plays out in part 2 when that happens. But it's such an awesome, you can tell, and again, just to reiterate, each episode of Stranger Things Series 4 had a budget of $30 million, and you can tell.
It's such a great budget. Like what they've put all that money into, the visuals, the camera work, the acting, amazing. It took Stranger Things to make a decent-looking Resident Evil tyrant. I'll say that because
yes, yeah,
because that thing at the end of the first episode, it looks like a tyrant.
Yeah. I tell you what, Minds, when you get to watch through the remainder of this series and you see what Vectra is all about and where he originated, because it gives you his origin story and how he was created, you'll be like, that is a badass antagonist. Like, because the only thing I'll say, the only thing about Vectra that I'll say that will keep you enticed for the remainder of this, at least part 1 of the series, going into the next series, is that Elle has faced him before.
So that's... I need to watch it.
Yeah. Elle has faced him before.
Watch another episode tonight.
Yep. And as it stands as well, Elle has no idea what's actually going on. Like, even throughout this thing, and you'll see it as the episodes progress, they know, like, everyone in Hawkins and everybody kind of when they get back to Hawkins are aware of something going on, etc. Elle does not throughout this series. She knows something's going down. They tell her that they need to try and help her get her powers back and things like that, which you'll see in the trailers, so this isn't spoilers, to help her get her powers back. And she isn't aware of the fact that Vectra exists. She's not aware of what exactly is going on in Hawkins. She just gets informed, like, the fate of the world is essentially in your hands and we need to help you get your powers back, otherwise we're done for. So she's got a separate segment to everybody else. It's awesome to see that, because it's a little bit more of a backstory to Elle and kind of replenishing the role as to what really happened when she was growing up in captivity.
One thing I want to say about Elle is they do like a flashback scene in this first episode, and they I don't know how they did it, but it must have been someone younger that they'd spliced her face onto, but it was done so fucking well. The amount of money in this goes to show how well the CG is done. And it's a TV show. TV show. You don't expect that from a TV show.
That little segment as well on that first episode is a bait and switch.
Is it?
Yep. Complete bait and switch. Like,
as
it progresses, you see that played out in its actual entirety as to what actually happened that day, and what occurred, because it's mad. Basically, it's the birth of the first gate, and why that gate, like how that gate originated in the first place. Because we all know there was 2 gates that were created. Elle created one of them, and the US scientists created the second. They thought the Russians had... the Russians created the second with that giant laser beam. But Elle created one, and the Russians created one. Elle closed the Russian one, but she didn't close the one that she did. So there was... Obviously, there's another gate. But you see that play out in its entirety, and it's awesome But yeah, they leave it on a cliffhanger at the end of it, and the one thing I want to say is all of the deaths in this are brutal to watch, and you watch them all in slow motion because you watch them slowly losing their sanity. As you seen with the first character, you seen her like in school, and she was in the locker, and she was like, "What is going on?" And like someone banging on the door really quickly and like scaring her, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Then you see them feet underneath the door, and you're like, "What is that?" Those feet, of course, are Vectra. And it's just such a gruesome. I mean, explain how you foresaw that death. Did you like that death scene?
Like, oh, it was hard to watch. Like, considering it's the first episode, I'll talk a little bit about spoilers, but
yeah,
like the way, because it's interactions with that character. I'm forgetting his name. He's like a drug dealer of some sort. He also plays Dungeons and Dragons with the rest of the group. And his acting is insanely great, but he's like there. She's at his place to get drugs, basically.
Yeah,
and she's in some sort of trance. He's trying to snap her out, and then she starts levitating, which is from her perspective is that a tyrant-looking dude. And then she's on the ceiling, like he levitates her up to the ceiling, and then you just start seeing all of her bones snap and break, and it's probably the most brutal and grotesque thing I've ever seen from a TV show.
Yeah.
And just hearing the snaps just makes you twinge and twitch at it because it's so well done with the sound design.
Yeah.
And to make you actually feel that in like your it gives you shudders. It was done so good. I was watching it with my dad, and even he did the same sort of reactions when winced. It's insane, and you're saying it gets more brutal.
Yeah, it gets more brutal.
So that's intrigued me. I can't wait to continue watching more.
Yeah, you once you get, like I say, it gets, because there's, and the thing is with each and every episode, and sometimes you kind of and this is what when we were spoken about binging things, and you like waiting for things and then not. The reason I like binging things, and much like on the Halo terms, if we have to think back to that, if Halo released it all in one, I would have preferred to binge it. The reason I prefer to binge things is if you have a bad episode, you don't have to wait for the next week to see if it improves. You can just get straight to the next one and go, thank God that last episode's gone. Like, this is much improved. Thank God. Like, we'll write off that last episode. It's like, I don't have to think about it. However, sometimes leaving it on a bad episode, you're like, oh God. Like, I hope this improves next week. Because I hope, like...
that's a good point. Because I did feel like that with some of the Halo episodes.
Like being on the Quan stuff, and you're like, really? Do I have to watch this? Like, if a series had a bad episode and you have to wait week for week, you're stuck on a bad episode for a week, and you just get thinking about, oh God, that was terrible. Like, I really didn't enjoy that, and you're like, oh, and then you kind of put it on, and like, you're already expecting something like not great because you've had a bad taste in your mouth from the previous episode. Whereas at least with the binge thing, you can just go, okay, that was terrible. Let's hope this next one's good. And then it goes on and it starts off better. And you're like, thank God for that. It was a one-off. We'll leave that. Thankfully, I have to say, with these, there is no bad episodes. All the way through.
To be honest, I can't say there was ever a bad episode of Stranger Things.
No, the only ones I didn't like was when she had that weird sequence where she was trying to be a rebel and went off with this other girl that was this other one that had a number on her that had these powers, and she was blah, 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 and she disappeared from Hawkins for a bit. And I thought that was out of place. There was absolutely no need for it. Them characters disappeared from the story entirely after that. She went back home as if it never happened. Like, it felt just off, and she was trying to be like this gang. I was like, yeah, that doesn't fit in with this at all. But never mind. But outside of that, such like you say, the quality, the music, the feel, the atmosphere, the brutality of this one, it is a lot darker than any other previous series. The acting.
It makes me think though, like, we've had so many terrible, absolute terrible Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Give it to these guys.
Oh god,
They'll make
these
a
guys would
fucking
make a
great
good.
Resident Evil movie.
Hell
They would
yeah.
make the best Resident Evil movie ever.
Yeah. It is friggin' brutal. It is absolutely
Mm.
brutal. And you're thinking it gets worse. Like you say, it gets worse.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see more. With you saying it gets more brutal.
Yeah.
After what I've already seen, I thought that was like brutal as well. Like enough.
Yeah. And there's a few
It's-
lead characters that get very close to biting the dust as well, which you'll enjoy seeing. So it's I can't wait for I can't wait to see how the penultimate end to this, because the entire second series is about how they then fight Vectra. Because in the first one, the first series entirely, they're kind of just finding out about them. They're finding out about how they can essentially not get killed by Vectra or pull themselves back from being killed by Vectra. And not every character is the same. Some of them need different things to kind of stop them from dying.
Yeah.
But others, it doesn't quite work out that way. So they've kind of, in this first series, they're like, right, we figured out how to not get killed, but how the hell do we kill him in that second series? The second series about, right, now we're going after him. But there's some awesome moments in there. Like, some awesome moments. Of course, the new characters that will go back to the Upside Down in certain sequences. There's the kind of try to communicate with each other again. There's, like I say, the new characters in there. He's not just a bit part player. He's a main part of this story all the way through as well, which you'll be happy to know. that new
Oh
character.
yeah, I liked him
think
as a
he's Eddie or
character. He was
something he's
really
called.
good.
I think he's called Eddie.
Yeah, I think his name's Eddie. Yeah.
He's not a bit part character. He's like I say, he's all the way through. He's a main character now. So I hope season 4 isn't the end. I hope in general, like part 1, part 2 isn't the end of Stranger Things. I hope it continues beyond that. I think they've got
I
the capabilities.
think they've said season 5 will be the last, and
Right. So
in a
that'll
way,
have to
I'm
be the
glad
ultimate.
that that's the case, because as most TV shows, they kind of overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. I know what
And they just-
you know what would be a nice finale to Stranger Things as a series would be a film, Stranger Things, where it's like the penultimate end, because we know the last episode of this series, however, of not this one, part 1, part 2, the last episode is meant to be 2.5 hours long, so it's a film in itself.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's obviously putting a lot of big money into this, and I would imagine the final episodes had a mega budget for it as well.
Yeah. If that's that long, they've got to put at least 60 million in that. If it's basically 2 episodes combined, right?
Yeah. And judging by, like you say, from what we've seen so far, you know what it is. There's bound to be twists. I can see, and no one's mentioned it. Thankfully, none of the reviewers have mentioned it either. Who've watched the entirety of part 1 and part 2. I can foresee them killing off some main characters, or a main character
I fully
completely.
expect it. Yeah, I fully expect it by the end of this show. Some of the main characters that were there at the beginning won't be around.
Yeah.
That's the thing about shows. They get you. They make you love these characters, and if they're really good writers, like they are with the Stranger Things, they latch onto you. They hit you in the emotions, and when whatever character bites the dust, you will be in tears.
Yeah.
Because they know how to write decent character deaths, unlike The Walking Dead, where it started out good, and then up to a certain point, characters died, and you were just like, "Oh well."
Yeah, exactly. But I have to say, like I say, so far, I've loved Stranger Things. The part 1 of the series, the first episodes were absolutely awesome. I'm unbelievably excited, and thankfully I don't have to wait years to see the next part of it. The next part of the series comes out in July. So for people who don't want to binge it all in one go and they want to take the time watching it, you've got a good month and a half to watch it until the next part of the series comes out. I love Stranger Things anyway. I've watched the first 3 series like 3-4 times over now. I just love the vibe, but I like that kind of 80s style thing anyways. Like, I love the new Ghostbusters that was out there. That was absolutely brilliant. If you haven't watched
Oh,
the
I
new
love that. It was
Ghostbusters
great.
film,
That film reduced me to tears.
unbelievable.
Mm.
The, like I say, Super 8, if anybody hasn't watched Super 8 yet, I recommend that. That's absolutely awesome. Again, going back to the likes of ET and things as well, where that's like this 80s vibe, and you've got like, it's like classic Spielberg-esque kind of feel-good stuff. That's what Stranger Things is, but this series now is far more brutal. It's awesome, but it's awesome to relive that kind of stuff as well, and the music and the way they're acting as well. And it's a little bit more innocent. They don't have like internet and stuff. They're not always on the phones, and they're using walkie-talkies, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Highly, like I say, if anybody who hasn't started watching it, watch it. You will not regret it. And everybody who's watched it so far has said this is by far the best series out of all of them. And that's saying something because the Stranger Things is such a great series.
Stranger Things done the same thing that Game of Thrones did for me. I didn't go much on it at first.
Yeah.
But then I watched it again and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then, well, I can't really use Game of Thrones as an example because we all know how that ended.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the same for Stranger Things because I'd be very disappointed. I don't expect it to be.
Yeah.
Because we all know that the reason why Game of Thrones ending sucked ass was because the writers rushed to move on to Star Wars because they caught a bigger fish.
Yeah.
And then we all know what happened to them after that. They got fired from Star Wars.
Yep. But overall, my thoughts of Stranger Things so far is extremely positive. Like I say, so glad it came back. So glad it is.
It feels like forever ago.
It is. It is
the
one of
last
them
season.
things as well. With, like I say, specifically with a series like Stranger Things, because it's been that long since the previous series was out. When the new series is announced, you think, God, I hope it's as good as the previous lot. And then I seen the initial trailer that they released, and I was like, "Oh, this looks badass!" Like that trailer's still absolutely awesome. The way they set it up as well, and the music.
I'm really glad that I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you even just go back now and watch the trailer. You'll enjoy it. Like the trailer's friggin' awesome. But yeah, it's surpassed my expectations of it. Like watching the series, it's just surpassed it, and all I've like coming to the end specifically because the last episode completely wraps up and tells you who Vectra is and his origin. The last episode gives you this is Vectra and this is how he was created, and you're like, holy shit! Now I really can't wait to see part 2 because this is gonna be badass. Like he is L's ultimate opponent, put it that way. Like he's not just someone. He's not just someone from the Upside Down. He's somebody to not be messed with. So yeah, it's whoever hasn't watched it all yet, binge it or watch it, whatever you do, enjoy it. You'll know you'll enjoy it. But yeah,
it's great. Like even like the first 2 seasons is amazing. Still stand out to me now how good they were.
Even the last few episodes of season 3 as well, where it starts to pick up and they're having that big like penultimate boss fight at the end, and they're all trying to fire fireworks at it, and like Billy comes back and like she brings him round and he like sacrifices himself and things at the end. You're like, holy shit! Like what an ending! But it's also good, like all these these segments for all the different characters all lead to one point. So like whilst these characters over here are doing this thing, these other characters are doing this thing, and it all means that you've all got one end purpose. And sometimes I think when they've got all these different stories in some of these shows, like they've all got different purposes and it doesn't really tie things up. Whereas Stranger Things, at the end of each series, it always ties up together. No matter what each character's doing, it all ties together.
Yeah, it's because the writers are amazing. They do a great job. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is not same can't be said for many TV shows because our writing falls apart. And I always use Walking Dead as the example
Yeah.
because that writing for Walking Dead really did fall apart. It's a shame.
Yeah. And there's so many 80s references in this thing as well. So many 80s references. But it's great. You see a little bit more of Dusty's girlfriend in this episode, in this series as well. Remember Dusty's
He's the best
girlfriend?
character in my opinion, Dusty.
Dusty's funny. But you see his girlfriend in this a little bit more as well. And that's quite a little funny segment, to be fair. It is quite a funny segment in general. It's like a Home Alone segment. You'll understand it when you say it. It's funny. It's funny. But yeah, overall, massively impressed. I'll obviously have to go off and watch the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan and experience what you're telling me as being the best in the Star Wars series that have been released.
Personally, for me, it's the best thing Star Wars at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially living up to Mandalorian, because Mandalorian seemingly come out of nowhere and was so good.
No, 100%. 100%. But yeah.
I think it's just with Obi-Wan, it was the way they executed nostalgia. They did it perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do a lot of times. They tried to do it with the sequel trilogy, and it failed. They did it here, and it really did work. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely. There we go. That wraps up this episode of the weekend edition of Menu Mix Up. For those who have joined us late or joined us a little bit late, kind of late on into it, we've covered our thoughts on the Jedi Survivor trailer that was released the other day. Of course, releasing in 2023 for current gen only and PC, and our thoughts on that. We've also covered the Top Gun expansion that came out for Flight Sim. We've covered Warner Brothers MultiVersus, which Jen has been playing the closed alpha for, and of course had a little bit of gameplay on screen there, so you can go back and watch through some of the gameplay to see what you think of it. We then covered Sniper Elite 5 and our thoughts on Sniper Elite 5, both campaign, co-op, and the multiplayer modes. And of course, then wrapped up with discussions on both Obi-Wan and Jen's impressions of the first couple of episodes of Obi-Wan there, and of course,
it's hard to not go into spoilers with Obi-Wan.
And it's like
I would say it's definitely a must-watch if you're a Star Wars fan.
It's more talking about how well they've done the episodes as opposed to what's within them. So we can only speak highly of our experience of these episodes that we've watched.
Yeah, they've definitely more than done justice with this Obi-Wan series. I can't wait to see those next 4 episodes. I'm itching to see them. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Yeah.
And again, you've got an episode to look forward to. I've just got to rewatch Stranger Things again because I've watched it all. A lot of people haven't yet, and they're watching it in sections, but I just binged the lot because I was that excited for it. I am a proper... You know what it is? I was out the other day as well, just walking around town, and I seen a Hellfire Club t-shirt in the shop, and I was so tempted to buy it. I was like...
I bought some... My Hunt Showdown addiction pushed me into buying some Hunt Showdown t-shirts, and I also bought some Power Rangers t-shirts as well. I did tweet that. I bought 2 Hunt Showdown t-shirts that I've been wanting to buy for a little while. I just went for it. I was like, I play the game so much. I need Hunt Showdown t-shirts.
The beauty of the Hellfire Club one is it's identical. It's like that 3/4 sleeve, black sleeve, and then the white bit in the middle, and then the actual Hellfire. So it's identical to the one that's in the TV show as well. So I was like, oh, do I get it and just wear it for like talking about it today? Or and I was like, nah, I'll hold off a sec, but I probably will get it, to be fair, because it was awesome. And I think it was just such a cool t-shirt to have, and it's great. To be fair, the Hellfire Club logo is quite cool as well. But not super excited for it. Can't wait for part 2. But awesome show again today, Jen. Awesome show again.
It was a good time. We're closing in on episode 20.
Yes, almost. Episode 20 happens to fall on the weekend of showcases. So that's going to be
I
awesome.
can't wait.
For episode 20, of course, remember, people, it will be on Saturday instead. It will be a little bit earlier as well in the day. Be like 4, half 4. What we'll be doing for episode 20 as well. Yes, we are reacting live to the Jeff Keighley showcase, Summer Game Fest. But on the Saturday show, we'll be kind of going deeper into our thoughts about some of the games that were shown off, some of the things that were announced, and our impressions really of that. And then our final thoughts. In fact, we won't, because I'll get Jen on as well on the pre-show for the showcase and the showcase itself. But yeah, we'll not give predictions for the Xbox One until the day of the Xbox One. But we'll wrap up our thoughts of that.
Yeah, I'll be sitting down. I'll have to set a day aside and think about what well, not predictions, but what I would love to see.
Yeah.
And you all know it's going to be ODST too.
I was going to say it. You're going to say it.
That's just going to be my entire list. 10 games, ODST too. All ODST.
Yeah.
No, it won't really. I'll keep that off the list just because it's never going to happen.
Yeah, never say never. Never say never. But awesome episode again anyway, Jen. A pleasure as always to co-host with yourself.
It's been a blast.
This show.
Oh, I love doing this. Love doing it.
But let the good people know where they can find you, of course. And of course, for those who have tuned in later or watch after the fact, I hope you enjoyed the show as well. Of course, if you do like what we do every Sunday and every Wednesday, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe this out. And, of course, put that notification bell on as well. Even comment. If you've got any comments that you want to say after the show, please drop them down below. We do read them. We do reply to them when we can, or as quick as we can anyway.
And don't forget, Manscaped, take care of your balls.
Yes, take care of your balls with Manscaped. Code MWMU for 20% off at manscaped.com. So yes, do it. And free delivery. Even better. The boxer shorts are worth the price of admission. Other than that, yes, Jen, take it away. Where can people find you and what you got coming up this week?
You can find me on Twitter, the _general_C, and that's the same on Twitch, where tomorrow I'll be finishing Black Mesa Half-Life 1, with remake of Half-Life 1, basically. And then on Tuesday, Hunt Showdown on Thursday as well. Saturday, back to Resident Evil, and then back here on Sunday. And maybe on Wednesday, if you need me, I'll pop up for a midweek mix-up if you need me there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Get on in.
I'm really getting into streaming now, more than anything.
Especially with, like I say, for all those who aren't aware, he's got all of his soundboards down at one point. So next time he's streaming, everybody jump in, and we're going to spam the living daylights out of him with, I
would have added more by then. I'm going to look through the channel point extension thing that I've got, and add a few more to the soundboard for people to redeem. But yeah, I love it. It's fun. It's all about chat, having fun more than anything for me. That's where it's at.
It's all about having fun with everybody. Exactly.
If you want to spam me, go ahead and do it. I don't care. There's no call-offs on it either, so hit it as many times as you want.
And I did.
Oh, yeah, you and Smooth Dog were having a competition to who could spam me the most.
That was fun. That reverb part as well was hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's such a good time streaming. I've finally found my love for streaming.
Yeah.
It's took me a while to get there because I was camera shy for quite a long time. Thankfully, being on the podcast here at Midweek Mix Up has loosened me up to that. I'm now comfortable being on camera. I mean, look at me. I dress up in a fucking cowboy hat and poncho.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's all about fun with me. And if it's entertaining chat, that's all that matters for me. So
yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Everybody loves it as well. As long as if you're having a good time, they're having a good time. So it's all good. Happy days. And of course, you can find us all on Tuesday for our usual Sea of Tuesdays, Sea of Thieves stream. Of course, everyone is welcome to join in. We'll get a couple of ships on the go.
Not what I meant, Sean, but okay.
Oh, that's getting messy. It's a good job I can put these comments on screen, isn't it, so people can know what we're laughing at. Not like that. Pause.
I should have thought about my word in there, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Never mind. Yes. Every Tuesday for Sea of Thieves stream, Sea of Tuesdays, 8 o'clock British Standard Time, UK, 3 p.m. EST. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. EST. And Sundays, again, back for the next weekend edition with Jen. Not sure if there's going to be any additional streams this week. Of course, Jen's got a few streams on this week, so you can catch Jen and the other collective members with their Twitch streams. And, of course, other podcasts. Of course, you've got the awesome Gamers Watch podcast on Monday. You've got our awesome new additions to the collective Xbox International on Wednesday evenings after our show, much later on.
Yep, welcome to the team, lads.
Welcome to the team. You've also got the Mick, who streams, of course, on Tuesday nights on Twitch with the Sea of Thieves stream. And on Sundays, a little bit earlier on before us, he streams, of course, with Sightless Combat on a Sunday, playing a variety of games.
Managed to tune into that today. Give Sightless Combat a follow.
Nice.
It's really, really cool to see like some of the stuff he can do. It's great.
Completely blind.
Gaming truly is for everyone nowadays, and you got to love it.
Yes, and thanks to Sean for reminding me there. Yes, of course, Living Split Screen. How can you forget that absolute marathon episode every Saturday of Living Split Screen that takes up your entire day? Them guys can talk for Britain, but we love them. Both Pong and Pong and
they've got great energy. Them too. I love them.
Yeah, unbelievable energy. I think they've got plans in the future as well of getting guests on and changing it up a little bit. So that's going to be awesome to see. I hope whoever they've got on as guest have these same marathon abilities because they're going to need it.
We should maybe see about doing a Living Split Screen and Weekend Edition crossover.
Oh, I know they'd be up for it.
Interesting.
I'll get them in advance. We'll get them both on and do a four-way Weekend Edition on a Sunday evening, see if they'll be up for that. No doubt.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and on all of Saturday, exactly. You know the score. But there's an assortment. We've got an awesome assortment of creators throughout the collective now. Shout out to absolutely every one of them. They do great work, including Stuff Sean in chat there, who's one of our Twitch streamers. He was live a little bit earlier today, curing his hangover with a bit of Lost in Random. But he does an assortment of different games, plays a lot of different things, and of course, great up and coming streamer. Still getting used to being on camera and things, but isn't scared to say whatever the hell he wants on there, and that's what we love. You say whatever you want. He's my favorite British boy.
You see what he said in chat?
I do not, and I will not even put that on screen. Oh dear me. But anyway, guys, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you everyone for joining us. For those joining us after the fact, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Drop some comments down below if you've got any comments on any of the topics we discussed today or any questions you might have. But until next week, of course, guys, see you all again soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Get Sniper Elite installed. We're going to be playing it shortly.
We'll play a little bit of that as well. Not straight after. We'll have a drink. We'll get a little bit of bite eat or something, and we'll play some Sniper Elite.
Yep.
See you all soon, guys. Have a good one.
See you next week.